The CSU played an extremely important role, I would say. Not only just structurally in Quebec, it's a bit of an anomaly. There aren't as many centralized student organizations like there is at Concordia. So structurally, the CSU existing created I guess you could say, the conditions to allow for all of the different fee levy groups to exist, which includes Sustainable Concordia, the People's Potato, Sustainability Action Fund, all of these groups and the greenhouse that contributed to the creation of the CFC eventually, and the CFC itself was reliant on the structure of the CSU to fund itself, because every student puts in a few cents and then all of a sudden you've got enough money to make things happen in the long term. And I was talking about turnover being an issue, and the fee levy groups allow for turnover to be answered to a certain extent. So as a structure in and of itself that allows for fees to be levied, extremely important. And then as an organization, I mean, I was the VP Sustainability when I was working on the project. The VP of Sustainability before I got the position also was around for the beginning of the Concordia Food Coalition. So right there we had a full-time staff person essentially that had the liberty to support different sustainability and food projects, and so we supported in that way. And then because we're actually a very large student union, we had staff that could work on other aspects of it, from business plan writing, just to, like networking, we have the campaigns coordinator essentially worked directly with both the Hive and the CFC as well. So we had another full-time staff person right there, not including the executives that worked on the projects. But then, I mean, we also build momentum within the university because we appoint representatives, and then we're on the board of governors, and so we can, through the CSU, we really have access to, well, primarily we have access to the upper levels of the university. But if you're a good, not good, but if you're a connected union representative, which you pretty much have to be, because if you're going to win an election, you need to be connected to the base a little bit more in the grassroots organizations. Then, so I guess we have access to all of the different levels, which is really important, because we can take what's being said in the grassroots, and then we're involved as well. In the formation of the discourse and things like that with the people in the grassroots. And then we bring that to the Board of Governors, we bring it to the upper level administrators when we're meeting with them, and we make sure that the university conditions are right for the development of a student-run food system. So we make sure, for example, that if students are prepared, that the university is going to allow them to take on spots that are within the contract. And we lobby hard for this. And we don't really take the approach that, oh, thank you so much for graciously allowing us to take on space within our own community where we exist. It's really kind of that, if it's possible, it's a moral obligation of the university to allow us to do this, to allow the community to essentially organize itself. And that approach seems to be generally understood by them. I think that we're lucky to have the right person in the Vice President Services position right now, which deals with these kinds of things. Besides that, the CSU provides a good deal of money. We funded the construction involved in the Hive. In total, well over $500,000 has gone into this so far, and we anticipate that another, even maybe more than $2 million, maybe more, will go into the overall food campaign. From additional construction that might be needed for a kitchen so that the Hive is able to produce more food in-house so that it can compete with the other food providers, to the creation of a greenhouse, which is being worked on right now. I actually just got out of a meeting about the greenhouse. It's very exciting also. And that's going to, that'll probably cost students about $1.5 million, but we anticipate the overall project cost for that to be maybe closer to $5 million. So, but the $1.5 million grant that hopefully the CSU will be able to provide in the future, and this is a part of what we're able to do with such a large student organization, is it will encourage other funders to put in money as well, including the university. So I guess primarily there's advocacy, there is funding, and then there's a lot of institutional memory too, and mobilization. I would say that, but without the CSU, I really think that we wouldn't have been able to accomplish everything that we've been able to, because also, I mean, through my time as the president, as the sustainability person, we gave space away to the student groups, essentially for free. Space that we used to charge rent to the third party, which I'm considering to be an opportunity cost that's unacceptable. We gave to the Hive for free so that they wouldn't have to worry about rent. And of course, we don't have to pay rent on space either, because we exist within a public institution, which is publicly funded. So, and we don't seek revenues from community groups like the Hive. So, yeah, we provide a lot of infrastructural support and access to professionals too, because it's incredibly expensive to start a cafe, from legal fees, construction costs, consulting fees, and things like that. And we also have a full-time accountant and a general manager, which makes us well positioned to support these groups in their early years of their foundation building, which is really important too, I think, for an organization like the CSU. Because we're so big and kind of detached, it's good for us to support these organizations. So hopefully going forward, it will continue to play the same role. And I guess one final thing that we've done at the CSU is we actually created a policy which allowed for, I drafted this policy which allows for any student group to apply for funding, and it can be a large amount of funding from it doesn't even matter what point of the project they're at. If they don't even have a business plan, if they just have an idea and they want more information, like they want to do market research or something, like we would fund that market research if it's a good project. And if it's like creating a new or expanding an existing food service or food system project, or if it needs, like the greenhouse will need $1.5 million, if it's something that we have a mandate to support, and we do have a mandate to support the greenhouse, then that policy allows for funding to be, or it creates a framework for funding to go to that project. And that it kind of sends a message to all those other groups, like the People's Potato and all those other ones, that hey, the CSU is supporting the expansion of the community-run food system. So if you have ideas, maybe we can make them realizable. And you combine everything together, from the conference to the creation of a new organization, the Hive, to the Concordia Food Coalition, to the already vibrant foundations, and you've got a really great, base from which we can really take over the food system eventually, within a cooperative model, of course.